early last night, and I have a little bit of a project. First, I'm going to try to revive this plant that I have because I'm not sure that I can revive it. I think it might be past its time, but I'm going to let it drain out into the sink. But as I'm doing that, I'm always running my washer, so like some people don't like ambient noise when I do these live streams, but there's going to be lots of ambient noise. Went to the grocery store actually on Monday, and I bought broccoli, and I bought beets, and I think I still have carrots and potatoes and whatnots. I have a lot of vegetables still, actually. And I'm using my camera to live stream because people always complain that it looks so, like, oh my gosh, like, pixelated. Like, I don't know why that's so important. And honestly, it's not that important. So I felt like I was done talking about a certain topic. I feel like I'm probably going to have to restructure, like, the name of, like, the video that I did, because I think people are still, like, I think I'm just going to have to give it a new title, because I think it's causing some confusion. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to have to, but honestly, it was my honest truth. I just said, like, in the title, like, would I ever convert to Islam? I mean, I guess I could do a similar one, like, would I ever convert to Christianity, and just talk about my views on it. Because the thing is, I feel like us more reserved types, like, we are taught, because we're not out there, people who are out there in the public telling everybody what they think, that we're given this feeling that we're not supposed to talk about things we think, but everybody else can talk freely about whether they be an atheist, a theist, a Democrat, a Republican. I think what it is, it's just everybody feels really comfortable projecting their opinion on others, whereas what I'm trying to do is I'm going to talk about, like, having your own opinions from an introverted perspective, because I feel like that's not talked about enough. Like, we always have people that are very outgoing, talking about their opinions. In a way, I almost think, this is sort of my thought on this, I'm going to have to go get all my containers to put the beets in and whatnot. I almost feel like it's a very introverted thing to want to, like, any kind of debate, really, is a very extroverted activity. Like, wanting to debate people is kind of an extroverted activity, and there's one reason I don't really think it's always good to debate people, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it just shows that you're too certain about your worldview. And you can have certain beliefs, but I guess what I don't really agree with is when people have to project them onto others. So just to clarify for any other videos I've made previously, I don't think anybody should be debating what they believe with others. Like, if you want to just share it, like, with a like-minded person, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I don't like it when anybody does that. Whether they be Christian, whether they be Muslim, Hindu, anybody. Like, anybody that's a little too certain about their worldview, where they're debating with people, I just don't think it's a good look. Because it kind of gives this, but I think it's a very extroverted thing. I also think, like, when Christians do this, like, after I did that video, because you know how this all started? I did an air fryer video. I was just talking about my air fryer, okay? And somebody came and spammed the air fryer video talking about how I should talk about Ray Comfort. And they didn't talk about what I was making in the air fryer. They didn't talk about meal prep. I'm going to use the beet tops, by the way. I'm going to make their own little thing with them. They'll be their own secondary thing, but let's start with the beet. So, but when I do the beet, I don't really like this part because it's kind of, I mean, nah, I think it needs more washing. That could be okay. Part of it. I'm going to keep washing on it. There's a lot of dirt coming off. Ooh. Okay, let's keep washing. I don't know. I'm not into preaching. I'm not into, like, extroverted activity where you tell people what they should believe. It's not my thing. Some people are just too certain about their beliefs, Or it's one thing to be certain about your beliefs, but then to always like tell others. And that was the weird thing that was popping up on my feed. Oh, there's like people that preach like the gospel of great comfort, like, and they go out in public and they preach it to people that don't believe in. I don't know. These are all the things that make me not join a group. And I think you can just, if you want to be a spiritual person, just do it on your own. I've always believed that because, like I said, when I was talking about when I was younger, maybe it's different in Islam, and it seems like it is to some degree where they actually talk about the Quran and a little bit more in depth, like specific. But there were never like church groups that would do like a sermon or like a Bible study group. They would never do like deep dives into like the history behind this verse and all that. But this is pretty much the end of how deep I want to go into this topic, because I think people just love to get a little deep into it, but not where I want to. I want to talk about, like, was Nebuchadnezzar a real person? Things like that, the more historical aspect of things. So, yeah, after a certain point, it doesn't really appeal to me. So I kind of just leave it to the people that want to debate. So at the end of the day, I already talked about it. I have nominally Christian beliefs, but I believe in exploring spirituality on your own, in your own time, in a more introverted way, and not within a group. Because I just feel like everybody in a group, okay, this is true for Muslims, Christians, there's always people that have differing interpretations and opinions, and it just becomes like a debate. But I think some people, they like being in a religious group because it's a sense of community for them. And it is kind of more of an extroverted thing, because introverted people, but let's be real, until recently, introverted people kind of were required in all religions, by the way, up until recently, to go to like a religious service. Like even with Christians, you had to go. You didn't have a choice. Like several hundred years ago, you could get in trouble if you didn't show up. So, yeah, I feel like it's just always been something that's kind of foisted on people a bit in a way. But I do believe in God. I just don't feel like it has to be done in the way. And this is another thing too that I don't like about, like, and this is very true with Christians. This is not just about Muslims or like even there's Hindu people. I just don't like it when people use their religion to kind of make people that live a lifestyle that they don't agree with feel bad. I don't like that. Because obviously a lot of people that are claiming to be super religious, like I said, you don't know what they do behind closed doors. Like, okay? But I don't really care either, because I think the more introverted you are, you can... the more you just... You don't care so much what people think, because you know within yourself, is this right or wrong? And you can do it yourself, and you can control the world. And when you want to live a more introverted life, you want to stop... I'm going to set the oven. 400. I'm going to make it warmer here too. It's been cold. Drop back in the 350 again, silly thing. Alright. When I hear that click, I know it started. So it's been really cold here. And up in the mountains, they've had record-breaking storms. You couldn't pay me to live in those mountains again. The roads are completely snowed over. Yeah, it's just... But thankfully, I hope the sun will come and it will melt. It'll start melting the snow soon. But they've never had this much snow up in the San Bernardino Mountains. They had like 9 feet of snow. 9 feet. This part kind of reminds me of a tree. I don't know, of the beet. It just looks like the, a tree ring. I love it. So when I make beets, like I chop them into littler pieces to roast. And I'm just getting different bowls that I'm going to chop up veggies to roast. I probably should have my laptop set up so... Oh my golly! No. Oh no. I hate when it does that. Oh boy. Okay, so bring it closer so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm also going to set up my laptop just so I can see if I get any comments on my food prep live stream. So I feel like, I don't know, I know some people just stopped by my channel because I had a video and they made a comment. And I do appreciate your comments, I do. But I think maybe I will have to retitle that video just to avoid confusion. Oh, it's very fibrous. Some parts are just a little too, like this part, it's a little fibrous for Shirley. Maybe I'm gonna do like a stir fry with the I might conserve the beet part stuff to do like a stir fry is kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe. Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, so this is okay. Let's see. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna because I want to see what it's doing. Okay, so we've been having a debate on my other friend Aya's channel because there's this guy that keeps saying that this dog, not a debate. It's not a debate. It's just a talk. We're not debating. It's just a talk. So he keeps telling her that she should hug her dog because he's about to pass away because he's 9 or 11. I find it very adorable. I think it's so cute. Yeah, I don't know. The Wi-Fi service has been acting weird. It's like it doesn't even want to connect or something. That's very strange. I just want to be able to see comments, you see. Oh no, I got beat on the monitor. Ah! Oh no. Okay. Maybe I'll get some potatoes to roast with it too. I don't know. That's a lot of... I might just roast the beets. We'll see. Okay, so this is the part that people waste that really upsets me. Is like the beetroot, and I'm gonna do a stir fry with them, and I've done that before, so they can just sit there in the sink for a little bit. I'm lucky I can actually cut like this again, because when I fell a couple weeks ago, well, actually, has it been a month? It's been about a month now. Oh boy, my wrist was so injured, but yes, I'm feeling much better. I'm not sure that oven is working. I feel like sometimes. Look! Okay, we have more beets. Ah. I love beets, but they are very, very messy. This is something that I think that's kind of strange about the Beyond Meat thing is like I've tried it because I'm plant based and I don't eat meat, but I don't understand why they put beets in it because they want it to look like blood. I think that's kind of gross. I really do. I've never liked that part of the Beyond Meat because I'm like that is nasty. Like why would anybody? But that's the thing. Like people want to eat a bloody steak. Like oh no. Well I don't eat meat, so. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get that. But I also decided to, like, I had bought some of the Impossible Burger, but I kind of just want to make, like, falafel and black bean burgers because to me that's just easier. And it's a little bit lighter, too, because just the ingredients. I just don't, yeah, it's processed, so I think roasting vegetables is definitely better. And the fun thing about beets is you can just eat them raw like this. Trying to get as much off of it as possible. And a bowl of beets. And I'm saving all the greens because I'm going to use them. And then I decided I'm going to use the broccoli for a stir fry as well, along with some onions. That's what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to have a big mess later. Well, I try to clean as I go. Like if you have these washable rags, they do help a lot. part's okay. It's just some parts are a little too, even if you roast them, I find, well, I still feel like I can get more beet off that though. I try to get more off that I can. Throw some of the beet. So one thing about cooking is, yeah, it gets messy, but if you try to clean as you go, it's not quite as bad. I mean, it still is, but I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's not quite as bad, you know. So I have a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit in with our beet friends. And then I have my salt, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen it for a couple days. Salt, did you get pushed to the back? Oh no. Push that. I don't know. I haven't been able to find my salt for a couple days. I'm gonna try something different because I still have a little bit of Panda Express orange sauce, and I wonder. I just want to have some fun in the sun, so I'm gonna do some experimental stuff. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna go get a spoon and stir it up and put it in the oven. So, like when you're on a tripod, I keep moving you around. Like you keep moving around. I shouldn't have added that much to it. Okay, I'm gonna put those in the oven to start baking this one. So I'm gonna stick him, bring you down so you can see me. He goes into the oven. And I'm gonna wish him a good voyage because he'll just be some nice roasted beets. Although, why is it fun to eat raw? I don't know. Let's keep that plant in me. The plant's drinking this. Okay. Oh, right. So, we have our BT friends right here. We have another bowl. And I kind of cut them up into smaller pieces. I should just check on how those ones became. I think. I have some thoughts about the type A personality and how you shouldn't be a type A person. I think the type A personality is kind of an extroverted thing because type A's, do you know what type A is? It's like a person who thinks, and this spills into many different areas, they think that they can do everything better than other people, so they want to kind of like micromanage how other people do things. So you gotta fight your type A, I think, in my opinion, just to have more happiness in life. If you want to do things yourself, then do it yourself, but oh my gosh, I have eggplant too. Maybe I'll cut up my eggplant. A lot of vegetables I need to take care of. I'm thinking about doing the eggplant next, maybe? Or maybe I should do the eggplant later. Let's see. Because I have a lot that I'm contending with right now. Thinking about it. Maybe I'll tend to them later. I'm going to add some carrots. I'm going to add like 2 carrots, I think. 3 carrots to... I love to roast vegetables, but I also like to make smoothies. Like, I almost want to make a smoothie. I just want to do a big food extravaganza, right? But in order to do food, I have to feel super relaxed and like I have all the time in the world to do it. That's just my take on it. I can't rush these things. Like, some people, they could just whip something up quickly, but I'm like, to me, I'm like, no, I just can't do it. Ooh, I love the the red and the orange together. It's so pretty. Like when you take some of the beet onto the carrot, it looks so beautiful. There's seagulls outside. Okay. I heard some seagulls fly by. Well, they've kind of become more inland birds now. Birds don't always live where you would think they would live. Like, we have a flock of Canadian geese, or several, that stay down here in Southern California because they realized, why are we going to migrate back to Canada when it's been cold lately, but it's not as cold as Canada. And they have ponds that they can hang out at. So some of them, I think, are just indigenous. Like, some of them just never, I don't think they ever leave. And also, people feed them. Like at the one VA hospital at the time. I was walking by the VA hospital, and there weren't that many people outside that day, and I happened to have some dried pineapple. And there was a flock of Canadian geese, and I wanted to look at them, and then they started chasing me. I'm like... Oh, thank you. That's nice. Thank you. So yeah, it's just like, oh my golly. Like, guys, like, be careful if you see a big flock of Canadian geese and you don't have anything to feed them. So I threw all the dried pineapple at them, and I'm like, I wanted that dried pineapple. I went to the market to get it because at the Loma Linda market, I used to love this dried pineapple that they had. So good. I love pineapple. I just do. But I was like, you guys need it more than I do. Definitely need it more than I do. I don't want you to not have your dried pineapple. Roasted. I just kind of like it in smaller pieces. This is my critique of like when you eat out, like, and you get vegetable dishes. Why are the pieces so big that you can't chew them? Like, I guess some people really love that. Like, I love Chinese food, but like once I went to this Chinese restaurant in Riverside, and the Chinese broccoli, like the cooked broccoli, it's in such big pieces, and I guess some people just want to take big bites, but I like, honestly, to me, like good roasted vegetables, whatever they be, are in bite-sized pieces so you can chew them. Like, that's what I like. Unless you just want to take big bites out of them, I don't know. I've heard about that show, The Big Bang Theory. I never saw it, but I know people really like it. I mean, yeah. What do I share with the world? A lot of, well, last couple days I just talked about, like, some things about spirituality, but in general, we talk about cooking and art and nature and things like that. And just thoughts and debates and things, like, about topics and whatnot, so, you know, that's what we do. Or I do. Like, I do a lot of cooking live streams, like, where I prepare food. I do, like, also like some little shopping hauls and stuff. Like, it's kind of a little bit of everything, and I talk about a variety of topics. I am reading a book right now that I was having the hardest time finding a book I liked. Okay, so I used to read a lot of fiction. I talked about this a while back, like when I was talking about books or on another live stream. So years ago, I used to read fiction, but I got so bored with fiction just because a lot of it is just made up, and of course it's fiction. But I started, because my degree was in history, I started wanting to read like memoirs or historical facts or just things about, people. So there was this book that I'm reading called Illegally Yours, and it's, I think he's one of the writers for the show Jane the Virgin, which ended up being really funny. It's a very strange, kind of surreal show. But this memoir is kind of funny because this young man, Raphael, he's Ecuadorian, and his parents are doctors in Ecuador, but they want to come to the U.S. so they can have more opportunities, because his grandfather was a judge, but in Ecuador, basically, it was you had to bribe somebody if you wanted to, get a good position. So they come to America, and they're not exactly legally here. They were on a tourist visa. They just never left. A lot of people do that, by the way. It happens all the time. And they want to immigrate. Like, they even try to correct it later. Like, they try to join the military. This is how dedicated his parents were. They wanted to be legally in the country. So they were willing to join the military. But at that time, like in 1991, the Army recruiting officer wanted to sign them up, but the superiors refused. So he grows up in California. He learns how to speak English fluently. He becomes like a native speaker because he's a kid. And kids learn things quickly. His parents are never able to become doctors like they dream of, even though they were doctors in their country. But they end up practicing to some degree in some medical fields because they do have a medical background. It's just a very good book. It's a very good memoir. Am I getting too precious about this section of it? I might be. Alright, so let's keep shopping. I am doing plans to try and get back into more art projects, but just like with cooking, it takes time. I'm not... I want to, when I'm doing my YouTube channel, I do want to make more edited videos, but the thing that kind of keeps me from just being, doing lots of super edited videos is they take a lot of time, and sometimes it's just easier. But I do like live streams because it's like cooking live. You could think about it that way. So I put some olive oil in there. I had tried some Beyond orange sauce in one of them, but I think that's going to make it too sweet. So I want it maybe a little bit more savory. So I'm just going to put a splash of this in. I really should find my salt. I'm like, salt, where are you? My salt is hiding. And I don't want to go to the store and buy more salt, I'm going to go buy more salt just to cook. Raw too, though. I just really like raw vegetables. But one thing I do like about cooked vegetables, the violet. What made me start this channel? I've been doing YouTube since the beginning. Salad for a whole large family. I'm meal prepping. I don't eat meat, so what you consider salad for a whole large family, I can eat on that for several meals. I don't eat meat, so I eat that, When you don't eat meat, you eat a lot of vegetables. Like, you eat a vegetable dense diet. And let me tell you something about vegetable dense diets. I have been around people who had COVID, okay? A lot of people who got really sick. And I know they're saying, but this is not documented. You can't say that this is the truth. But I haven't got COVID. I've been around people that were sick with COVID, okay? Working with the public, being out in the public, just around people. And I know sometimes it's just chance of luck. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that eat healthy that do end up getting COVID. But when you make all these vegetables to eat, it's good for you. Like, I sometimes, that's the thing I regret is sometimes, like, during the week, I'm not, like, cooking the way I want to, like, more optimally. But the more vegetables and fruit you eat, it's good for your health. Like, so, and it's called meal prepping. So, you don't have to eat the whole salad all at once. It's like when you make something, yeah, it's so you can have it to eat later. Like, that's the whole idea, that when you make, because honestly, when I don't have days off, I don't always feel like being in the kitchen. So if you make it in advance, I'm going to move that one to the side so they have more room to roast. And now I think I wanted to make, like, I was thinking about doing baba ganoush. I was thinking about that with my eggplant. I need to roast my eggplant, but I kind of want to do a stir fry with the beets, because this is the part that the people waste so much that makes me upset. I'm like, why do you waste it? Like, why do you waste this part? This part is just really good. So I'm going to chop it up, and I'm going to do a green stir fry with the beets, because you can eat this part of the beets. This is a very healthy part of the beet to eat. And I've done this before where I've done, like, I mean, you don't have to eat like this. I'm just telling you, it's how I eat. Like, I don't know, you probably haven't seen people that are vegetarian and vegan. We eat a lot of vegetables and fruit. That's just how we roll. Like, we eat a large number of them. Like, we just love it. Even people like, I don't know, in California, sometimes, well, I mean, people in California eat vegetables and fruit, but sometimes they're, like, surprised. They're like, wow, you eat a lot of vegetables. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I eat a lot of vegetables. But I do attribute that to not getting sick during COVID. I just feel like, okay, yes, some people do eat healthy and they still get sick, but, like, my mood, like, when I woke up, I felt kind of like, I was tired, like, from having worked all week, but all of a sudden, like, my energy level is, like, higher again because I eat some raw beets. It's true. It made me, like, I don't want to eat a pound of them, but I can meal prep them. And I hope I can, like, get my little thumb. Anyhow, I'm going to go get my pan so I can get this ready to make a stir fry. Well, it's a big pan, actually. It's not a little pan. It's a really big pan. So, living in, like I don't have a giant apartment, but living in a smaller apartment, my pans usually live inside of the oven because, you know, it's storage space. But, gosh, I think some beets got on the floor. We need to wipe this up. So, like I said, some people are like, it's so hard to clean. Just clean as you go. And I take all the washcloths that I use for cleaning, and then you put them in the washer and you dry them later. It works. It's a really good technique, believe me. Like, it saves on cleaning. Like, it makes it so much easier to clean. So yeah, I'm gonna stir fry some beets. I'm gonna put this back in the fridge though, because he could go bad later. Well, people watch it later. Like, even though I'm talking, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to stay, you're welcome. But people do watch these in replays. I just talk because it's a meal prep thing. And sometimes people drop in and they watch a few minutes of it here and there. So it's not that I'm not talking to anybody, because people actually do watch my videos and they'll comment on them later, like Casey. And then There's this one guy, he's really Mahush, like he's kind of funny. So, and Aya, so I don't have to have like. That's the whole point. I don't know, like, if you're familiar with the live stream format, you just kind of talk to the video, because like if you're silent, I mean you can be silent, but sometimes people are like, what are you doing? So the only reason I talk at times, like sometimes I'm silent when I'm doing it, you know. But it is like 5, 6 in the morning my time. I just went to bed early, guys. So I cut everything into small pieces because I hate that. Like I said, I really hate that when you eat vegetables out, they're in like such big pieces. I'm like, cut them small. This poor knife is going to be stained afterwards because it's a porcelain knife. I like it. However, okay. Another thing you can do, like, I don't know what they say. They call it tobacco rolling, like I guess like a cigar, which I don't eat cigars, but you can roll the leaves like that, and when you cut them, it's like julienning. It's a julienne technique for. My name's Juliet. I guess I could read them out loud. I'll tell you why I assume people know is because, yes, when the video's done, it doesn't show chat replay. But the way that, let me explain, like, the way YouTube works is, like, on the right-hand side, like, I set up my phone to be the webcam this time because people would complain that if I did the live stream on the laptop, it's pixelated, and they don't like it. It's pixelated. It looks like it's from 1998 or something. They get mad. So I'm using my phone to do the live stream because it's a little bit more clear, although live streams aren't super clear. So when I respond to the comments, if you know a little bit how YouTube works, here on the right hand side there's a chat replay. So when you're talking, people, like, they can sometimes read the comment on the side. So I can try and read it out loud, but the reason I don't always read it out loud is because you just look to the side and you can see what somebody's responding to. But I can do that for sure. Like, if it makes it more sense, like if that makes more sense. But it's just a lot of people do that. They just look at the chat replay or the live chat and they see what it's saying there, and like whatever the person's talking about, that's usually in reference to that. It's starting to feel slimy. I like to cook vegetables, but after a while I'm like, oh, yeah. All that slimy vegetable. I love textures, but the wet textures are sometimes a bit much. of our. I feel like the greens could be a little bit finer meshed in a way, but they're gonna cook down. It's a stir fry for sure. They're gonna cook down. When you buy vegetables at the grocery store, like in California, the prices are going up. It used to be cheaper, but it's still cheaper. Like for instance, I got all these beets for $1.49. Like all these beets, like all those beets that I cut up, and all these beets that are in here, like all of this, was $1.49, and that's actually a really good deal. And that's a lot of food. Okay, that is a lot of food. Because I know people are like, but vegetables are so expensive now. And yes, the prices are going up more than I think warrant. Like I would say lettuce. Like I don't know. It's hard to sometimes find good quality lettuce. The prices have gone high. But beet greens are really healthy too, and you can stir fry with the beet greens, and then there's even more bioavailability from stir frying the beet greens. So for $1.49, like some people would just be like, "Oh, this part I don't eat this part." They think they just eat the little beet part, but if you clean it, you can definitely eat this part. It's edible. Like this whole thing is edible. So like you might as well eat the whole thing, and then you don't waste your food. Like I've done a lot of like little cooking videos in the past where I cooked like stir fried or cooked beet greens. I almost think maybe I want to check on my little vegetables just to make sure that they're not. See what they're doing. Let them cook for a little bit. I'm gonna let them keep cooking. Beets are really beautiful when they cook in the oven, by the way. They just have this beautiful red caramelized look to them. It's so amazing. Has that texture again that I can't stand. Yeah, I feel like it. I didn't know it was gonna get that much views. Like that on this particular channel, that one did get a lot of views. I honestly though, my other videos do have more views. Like if like my art videos and things like that, they do have more views. I'm not saying that this is my biggest channel. I don't know why that particular video got so many views, but I think it just for some reason it wasn't. I don't know what it was about that particular video. I was just thinking about different things that people talk about because it was just something related to like I had a discussion with my friends about, and yeah, it's a good topic. Like I think people like you should do more videos about it. I guess what I need to probably reword that video as I would like people to stop judging Muslims and acting like Muslims are not tolerant. That's what I kind of was just something that came to my mind because I was just thinking about that because I knew someone once that was a Muslim, but she was afraid to like tell people she was Muslim, and just because of reactions she had gotten before, and because of things people had said to her, like, and it really bothered me. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's right. So I just felt like, so I am very drawn to certain things in your guys' faith. But as I've said in some other videos, I'm more of an introverted person, so I don't really join groups of people. Because I have certain ways that I just view the world, and I like to treat people with respect, but I also want to do it in an introverted kind of way. And I think being part of a group is more of an extroverted thing, you know? My other channel does have more views, but just as you know, I don't know if you know, I know you're saying I noticed that stream about Islam got more views. Um, I'm not taking advantage of it. That's another thing though. That's not fair. Not to be rude to you, but that's not fair. Half full moon. Nobody takes advantage of anything. We are allowed to talk about anything on our mind. It was just a Friday night live stream. So maybe you're taking advantage of me, you know? I don't know. But I'm a strong, dominant woman. So I get kind of like feisty. Like, so just watch what you say, you know? I'm nice, but I'll be a little feisty with you. Like, yeah. So anyhow, I don't think anybody's taking advantage of anything. Let's talk about this. There's a lot of things people could take advantage of. Like makeup. Makeup, that's a big, big industry. Somebody could hate makeup and they could go on YouTube and like do lipstick tutorials, and that would technically be taking advantage of the lipstick community. So if I did a video saying I'm a Muslim, I want to convert you to Islam, yes, or any like influencer did that, I would say yeah, they're taking advantage. I had no idea that video was going to get so many views. Honestly, because the other videos I did got like 20, 30, 40, but people don't. I think if you know a little bit about how YouTube works, like you don't really know certain videos that are going to get views. There's other videos that I want to get more views, honestly. There's a lot of videos that I want to pop off more. Like I do a nightly live stream, a Friday night live stream with Aya, and we'd like those videos to get more views. So there's actually topics, like I did a review about a little fireplace I bought. I would love that to get more views. There's things that I would definitely love to get more views, but that was just something that was on my mind. And then the next video was just about how I'm more of an introvert. So anyhow, but I did a kind of a follow-up video just talking about my stance on those things. And I just said after that I think I'm going to let people that are very passionate about their religion talk more about it. It was more just about me. I'm going to probably rephrase the video too because I don't want people to be confused. I feel like it's confusing. I'll tell you why, because my friend, that was Muslim, she wasn't, of course, she wasn't going to convert me, but I think she started inviting me to come to the mosque with her and things because she wanted to meet a friend that might be curious about her faith, you know? So that was just kind of why I titled the video that, and it was something she brought up to me, but this was the thing, even though she was a Muslim, I thought, well, you'd be so, like, happy. Like, I thought she would be a happy person. she had some things going on in her life where she wasn't really happy about, that kind of confused me. And I said, I don't understand. Like, but there was something else going on. Like, I thought she would have been fully happy because it seemed like she had everything to be happy for. But it kind of goes to show there are people that, and it's the same thing with Christians too. Like, I was really surprised that there was this artist. I don't even like him, Thomas Kincaid. I think he's kind of like a mass producer, but it seemed like he had everything. Like, he made a lot of money. He was selling a lot of his art. Like, he even wrote a book about his spiritual faith. But then his wife left him, okay? And he was just so distraught and he couldn't handle it and he committed suicide. And that just really surprised me because he always claims that he was very certain in his faith. So, yeah, I was very... That's kind of rude, though. If people are doing that, I apologize to you on their behalf. I don't... I'm sorry if, like, I wasn't trying to do that, but are people doing that? The meaning of life of being a Muslim, and they're not Muslim, and they're just... Are they... So they're pretending to be a Muslim to get views? Yeah, they probably saw that it was trendy on YouTube or TubeBuddy. You know, the little searchy thing. You could do that too. Well, Half Moon, why don't you, since you are a Muslim, make a similar video? Do it better because you are a Muslim and you would know like the actual things about Islam. So I could tell you, go to TubeBuddy, find the keywords or something that they're using, and you can go make that content better. So, and then your channel will do better. That's what I'm going to suggest you do, because like if they're doing it and they're not Muslim, that's kind of weird. Like, that would be weird. That like I said though, I do think there are people... There's a lot of clickbait things. Like, there was like somebody who did a video called "I Canceled Myself," and it was her showing that she dressed up as Michael Jackson and she was a white girl, and it was kind of weird. I'm like, but basically, like, it was the keyword, right? Cancel, and somebody's gonna be like, what is that? I have to click on it now. And then they go to see, oh, what? She dressed up as Michael Jackson, which was kind of cringy, but like somebody said in the comments, well, why did your parents let you do that? So I don't know what you should like I'm saying, like, if people are making videos the meaning of life by Muslim, then you should go make same video and you can do it better, you know? It would work for you. I'll tell you why, cuz you just have to do search engine strategy. Do you know what those people are doing? They're just... You don't do it the way that they're doing it. This is what you could do, my opinion. You could just say, oh, is this what like an atheist thinks about Islam? But this is about, you know, this is what Islam really is. You could do it that way, and then you flip it, you see? Like, just, if you, like, I'm just telling you, like, why let them get all the views? Do it yourself, you know? There is a way you could do it. Like, you could say, oh, is this what an atheist thinks about Islam? But this is what a Muslim truly knows about Islam. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think you have a lot that you want to say. Like, I really like your articulate comments, and I think you could do videos. I have a feeling that you could contribute something, and you could make really good videos, and you could get the views. And actually, like, you know who Dina Tokyo is, right? Like, I don't know. Do you guys know who she is? I like her. Like, I think she's interesting. She's half Egyptian. My dad's half Syrian, so I don't know. Like, I always was kind of drawn to her. And I just thought she was interesting. And I know she used to get a lot more views back when she wore the hijab. And then when she took it off, I know she lost some views. But I think one of her big videos was just talking about her thoughts on, like, covering. So she was Muslim. She's living in England. And she's still a Muslim. You can do it too. I'm just saying, like, you can. There are ways you can, like, you can do it from your own perspective. And I think there's actually a lot of Mommy Ninja. I mean, she comes up on my feed a lot, and she's Muslim, and she has a lot of views. So there's ways you can do it too and talk about your faith. You know, you can do that. Yeah, I know, but have you done it your own way? That's what I'm saying. Like, they do it their way, right? What is Half Moon's take on it? Like, that's the thing though. I feel like people are always like, but so and so did that. But you seem passionate about it. I don't know. I'm just giving you an idea. Like, if you feel passionate about it, maybe you can show something that they didn't show, you know? Just a thought. Because you seem like you have a lot of knowledge about it and you seem passionate. But that's kind of cringy. If people are literally making videos like that and they're like an atheist, I don't know why. Like, what is their intent though? This is my next question. Are they making that video to encourage people to be an atheist, or, which I don't really like either. Like, honestly, I don't really care if people are atheists. I believe in God, but I have noticed, like, this is one thing I know, and I can tell you because I think there's a lot of overlap between, no offense, like, people can believe in whatever they want, but there's a lot of overlap between people that are ex-Muslim and ex-Christian, like, that become more atheists. I think a lot of people had really bad religious experiences growing up, and that tinges a lot of their content. And like I said, like, I had a couple experiences in a Christian church that were kind of weird, but I didn't let it, like, form my whole being, and it didn't make me want to be an atheist because of it. So I don't know, like, if their intent was, did they make that video because they want people to become an atheist? Like, fourth language, that's pretty good. Well, do it in your own language then. You know YouTube is in many languages, right? Or do it on TikTok. TikTok's the big guy now. Like, YouTube's, like, I say YouTube's still good for live streaming and long form content, but in your own language. Like, if you want to do videos, you can do that. Like, what's your first language? Do you speak Arabic as your first language? Like, what is your first language? I'm just curious. I really wanted to learn Arabic. My grandpa spoke Arabic, but I never took an Arabic course, and then I tried to teach myself some Arabic, but it doesn't really work that way. You can't just teach yourself Arabic. Like, it's not an easy language to learn, like, just on your own. Okay. But are they continuing to do it, or do they just do it on that one video? You know? If they're continuing to do it, that's disingenuous. But people did that with raw veganism, okay? Or just veganism or cooking, or they did it with, like, makeup. People do it with a lot of content. Like, I know it hurts. I think what it is, though, it's more hurtful if they do it with your faith, because it feels very disingenuous, because they're taking something that you know is so powerful and they're using that for content. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. But, I mean, I question, like, what were they continuing to do it, or did they just do it to, like, have a viral video? Or, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't know their intent. I can tell you, I've had interactions just with people that are Muslim for 20 years. Like, since I was young up until now. So, like, when I talk about things, I'm just talking about, like, things my friends told me. And also another thing, I guess, that, because I was watching a Turkish show, Magnificent Century, and I was talking about how I wanted to learn Arabic, but it was just so, I'm not a linguist, okay? I'm not, like, I am such a linguist, but, I don't really have a forte for learning many languages. I picked up a little bit of Turkish from watching, Magnificent Century, but I did really like that show, and the thing is, the way they do talk about Islam a little bit in it, and it made me kind of curious about things. So so my question is, if they were doing it, what their intent was. But I don't know. I guess you could do your own videos. It doesn't have to be that topic. So, just my thoughts. Now I'm chopping really small because I hate it when pieces of vegetables are big, but I get a little too choppy. They're all going to be tiny little pieces, and I love it. Oh, and I have to cut my onion. When I cut my onion, I'm gonna literally cry because onions make me cry when I chop them. You know, in the comments, people can tell me what they eat because I think people are just very flabbergasted when they see how many vegetables and fruits that I food prep, which can last me days, by the way. They don't go bad. Like, the broccoli was more expensive than the beets, but the beets were $1.49 for all those beets. It was pretty amazing. Such a good deal. And another thing of broccoli. Okay, that's just weird. Why are people doing that? So, okay, so they're an atheist, but their whole channel is about. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about people that, like, used to maybe be a Muslim and then they left Islam? Okay, so that's kind of like another thing. I think they're kind of like the Christians too. Like I said, there's people that do that. And I think you have to understand, though, they have gone through some sort of trauma, and it's probably familial trauma. It's trauma that's more like specialized to them. I think I know what you're talking about because I have seen a channel like that where somebody left Islam. But I've seen videos like that where people left Christianity. You just have to not take it personally because it's their choice. And I don't think that their content really is going to exactly reach, like, it's more personalized unless they're like going on there saying everybody should stop being part of this faith because of this, this, and this. At the end of the day, this is their personalized content. It has something to do with like some sort of, most people that are atheists, they have gone through some kind of trauma in their life with religion, and they were from very religious households. And there's a lot of overlap because I've looked at this. Like, I know everybody's like, but Christianity and Islam are very different. Although a lot of there are some core things actually in Islam, like the way that Muslims use the rosaries. That's the way that Eastern Christians used to use the rosary. Like, if you look into it and whatnot, like I mean, I would, but I'm cooking right now. I'm just kind of responding to some things that you're saying, but I'll look at it later and see. It would cause like bad replay, so I'm just like focusing on cooking. I'm just like responding to the thing you're saying actually. But like I feel like on this topic, I feel like what I had to say was done. I was just basically just like sharing some of my thoughts. Like, my video was just more that I think people should be tolerant to other religions, you know, and not, because I do hear a lot of hateful comments and I don't like that. And I think about my friend, you know, who like felt like she couldn't tell people who she really was just because of things that were said to her, like at Target, like you're shopping at Target and somebody says something to you, like that's very horrifying. Like, and there are people like you would think that would know better, but I feel like after Donald Trump was elected, like a lot of bad behavior was encouraged publicly, and you had a lot of I don't know. I don't even think these are people that would have done these things like publicly, but because he went out and he was saying, I want to do bans on people, which really bothered me. Like at times when people really might need to immigrate, like from Syria, like people that were in a life and death situation, and you're like, I'm going to do a travel ban. Although, like, you know, just, I think that's where people get these ideas. Hi, Miguel. And anyway, yeah, I think that's where people get these ideas. But I'm just going to say, I think people that know about their faith should do more of these videos. It's not really something that I think an atheist person should be doing for views. That's kind of weird. Just don't take it personally, though, if they do. Don't take it personally. will, if you want me to, I will watch the video. The reason I don't like to do reaction videos is because it's talking about other people. And I talk generally about topics, but I don't like to talk about other people in my content because I like to keep my content more original to me. So, I mean, I will react to it if you think there's some merit. I'm just cautious about doing that because I just like to keep my content more just based on what I'm doing and not what other people are doing. But I would be interested to see, I might look into it and see. This part, people think they can't eat the fibrous part of the broccoli. You just need a really big knife. And you need really awesome chopping skills. Honestly, I have a lot of strength in my wrist and my arm. And this is the wrist I fell on, and I was in so much pain. But it's finally healed 3 weeks later, and I'm like, I think just need to eat healthy. No more, I'm on this thing, I was eating, okay, I put some sauces in my food, but I really am over the processed food thing. I just really want to eat cleaner this week, starting this week, because I know optimally, I feel better, when I start eating vegetables, people always say, but this can't be. But the minute I eat some vegetables, careful with my fingers, Miguel. I know how to chop. I'm amazing at chopping. I have skills, okay, when it comes to cooking. This is I know what I'm doing, and you just have to watch. You just look. You don't put your finger in the knife, Miguel. You just have to be very, very gingerly. I look. And also, too, having a sharper and bigger knife helps, because if you have a small knife, you can't cut vegetables very well. I am. It's the knife. I'm cutting the vegetables. It's big. It does a good job. This is, the best knife I've had. I bought it at Walmart. It was, $9. It's the best knife ever. I love Walmart. Some people would be like, oh. Okay, you like the machines? I have a machine, Miguel. Okay, I had one of those little potato slicer machines, but this is the thing. I know some people, they have those food machines, but it's another thing I would need to store in the kitchen, which is tiny. And now I have, the air fryer, and I have a blender, and I don't, if you have a large house, yes, you have lots of space for all that, but personally, I don't have, lots of space, and I know how to chop things, so the reason I just don't buy that machine is because, I don't know, I've always known how to chop things. Did I say your name wrong? Are you Portuguese, Miguel? I think you're Portuguese, Miguel. I don't know. I'm Californian. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Miguel? Is it Miguel? Tell me. I don't know unless you tell me, okay? I think you're Portuguese, though, because you wrote some comments one day, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're from Portugal. Unless you're from Brazil. I'm not sure. Okay. Are you mysterious, Miguel? Because I never really do know where you're from. You're always this, I don't speak English as a first language, and you won't tell me. It's okay. If you want to be mysterious, you can be mysterious in the comments. That doesn't bother me. Let's see. So the broccoli hearts are really... I'm going to cut them a little bit tinier just because I cut them first and then I cut them again. Just to, that's a lot of vegetables in that pan. More than I anticipated. I might start cooking them down and then add the onion. So I feel like my veggies might be done roasting at this point too. You're from Spain? Oh, okay. Habla español muy pequeña. My Spanish is not very good. It should be good. I should learn to speak better Spanish because in California you have a lot of people who speak Spanish, okay? It would make my life a lot easier, but I would need to apply myself to studying it properly. I took some Spanish in college, and then Yeah, I started learning more Turkish than Spanish because I was watching a Turkish show and then I was getting real obsessed with Turkish and not a linguist, but I'm honest about it. At least I don't pretend to speak a language that I can't. I think we're almost done, guys. The beets. They look pretty. Oh no, they cooked more than I wanted, but that's okay. We'll just. You guys really cooked down. I know. Wow. Okay. So the beets are right here. I have to show you how beautiful they are. I'm not going to pick it up though, but they're very red. It's just so beautiful. I love beets. And it's just such a beautiful, vibrant color. Like kids I don't eat eggs, okay? But a lot, like if you do eat eggs, a lot of kids would dye Easter eggs with beet juice. That's so old school though. I don't eat eggs. I like cholos. I don't know what that means. You're funny. You like cholos? Are you? I don't think you can be a cholo, Miguel. Like people who live in that are Latino American, I think are cholo. Well, maybe you can be a cholo in Spain. I don't know. Oh, I put some olive oil in that one, and I probably should have added garlic. It'd be really good. That sounds really good. I do have some garlic that I could have added to them, but there was garlic in that sauce that I put in, so it will be a little bit garlicky. But I put olive oil in it originally before I roasted it. It just kind of cooked down a lot more than what I wanted. And this is cooking down too. Maybe I'm going to make baba ganoush. But you have to roast the eggplant first. And then it has to cool. And then you have to, but I don't have any tahini. I can improvise. You see, sometimes I use almond butter if I don't have tahini. But it's just not as good. But I might improvise. I think I'm going to make some baba ganoush. I might make a smoothie later. You know why I'm doing all this food? It's called meal prep. I wish I could just cook like this all the time, like just make food all day long. But if I'm gone out of the house, I'm not going to be cooking properly. And then I'm not going to make good food choices, right? Like if you're out and about, I feel like you don't make the healthiest of food choices. And I feel like if you want to make healthier food choices, you want to try to make things in advance so that you eat healthy. And that's kind of my goal, is to make better food choices. I'm going to start letting... Okay, I have a little bit more beet I need to cut up. Oh, you eat Algerian vegan cuisine? That sounds really good. Do you guys have, like, baba ganoush? Okay, well, ciao and goodbye. Tell me if you do like a Lebanese kind of dish like baba ganoush. I'm not leaving. Half full moon said he had to leave. He said ciao. So I said ciao to him. But I would like to know if you have time later. You told me if in Algeria, because I am not as familiar with Algerian cuisine, but since it's a Mediterranean, I'm wondering if you have like a Lebanese type dish, like similar to Lebanon, baba ganoush with the roasted eggplant that you like kind of, there's different ways you can do it. You can puree it with the tahini, or you can like kind of mash it. It's so good. Baba ganoush, actually that's a debate. That is a big debate because some people say it was originally from Syria, and I'm part Syrian. So some people say that it's Turkish, and it's very contested. But Syrians in Aleppo say that they made baba ganoush and that the Ottomans appropriated it, or the Turkish. It's very highly contested. And since I have some Aleppo blood, I don't know. Who do I think made it first? I can't say for sure, but I will tell you this, that people in Aleppo and Damascus say that they were eating baba ganoush before the Turks did. Just saying. And who are the Turks? They're kind of like the Turks are very European, by the way. They're like an agglomeration because a lot of the Turkish sultans married mistresses. And yes, some of them have like Central Asian Turkish ancestry. But it's interesting, okay? So who made it first? I don't know. But it is highly contested because Turks say they made it first. And then the Syrians said, no, they had it first. And the Lebanese say, no, I had it first. And everybody argues and debates like who made baba ganoush first. But it's very highly contested. I just like it. It's crazy. People get so like heated about it, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just tasty. But there are some chefs in Aleppo who say that they made it before the Turks. So I'm just saying what they said. That's not what I said. So, but yeah, I love baba ganoush. It's like one of my favorite little things. But thank you for stopping by. Not to detain you. I was a history major, so I love history, dearie. Like, yeah, I love couscous. Very good. You'll have to tell me more about it, though. I know you don't understand all I say. Put on CC. Like, you can do caption, Miguel. You can understand caption. It'll translate it to Espanol. Yo soy un... Oh, bad. No. I thought I could speak Spanish for a minute. And then I realized I would say it wrong to you. But you can translate it by clicking on CC. Yeah. Because there's another lady, like, she says that sometimes, like, CC doesn't show up on my video right away. You just click on it, and then it'll come later, okay? Like, that's just one option. I'm going to take him over here so we can put him over. I have like some decorations that my mom gave me, but I'm thinking about how I want to incorporate them. I guess this is like this is a Christmassy gravy platter that somebody gave her, and she said I've never used it because I don't know, we don't do big holiday hosting and whatnot. It's just some cute little decorations. I'm gonna find something to do with them one day because they just kind of hang out there right now. But they're very pretty. I was thinking I might make soup and just put it in there because I just think they're pretty. So, where's my olive oil? He's right here. I'm going to just add some olive oil to it. Okay. And then I'm going to add... You know, I was going to chop up an onion, but maybe I'll just use up... I still have my chopped onion powder. And then I can start cooking it. Add a lot of that in. So I thought, well, I should just use this because I need to use it up anyway. Okay. And then I might add... I had some... spicy pepper that I'm going to add, I think. But I'm going to add some teriyaki to start with. Why did I open you? I didn't open them all the way? That's weird. I'm pretty sure I opened them. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. I must have put them back in the fridge. Okay. You guys can sit away from here a bit. This is horrible. I hate it. No, it's not horrible, literally, but it's just like, you have to clean. Like, I am wanting to clean this place. Some major cleaning. My mom has been a vegetarian all of her life. And I became more like, I'm not exactly vegan because I don't consider myself vegan. Like, I don't like the vegan stance. I think vegans are just very judgy. But I just don't really eat meat and dairy because my mom, like, I used to eat chicken for a while when I, like, a few years back, but I didn't feel good eating meat. It made me feel sad. So just for my own stance, I don't like meat and I don't want to eat meat. So it's just something we've done all our lives. Like we just don't eat meat. So to me, it's kind of just something that I've always done. Plus, I grew. My mom used to work in Loma Linda, California, which is a Seventh-day Adventist community, and they're kind of vegetarian. And we just always would shop in markets. And now it's more widespread now, by the way. Because I know a lot of people that are like Indian who are vegetarian, like they don't eat meat either, but they eat more dairy, I would say. I just don't even eat that. My mom, she's vegetarian, like where she eats, like she'll eat cheese and butter and sometimes egg, I think. I don't really do that. I just, for me, for a long time, I was kind of wanting to be a vegan because I thought, oh, that's cool. But I don't like the vegan ideology just because I felt like vegans wanted to tell people that they shouldn't eat meat and they wanted to go to and I didn't like any of that. So I just don't I think I just like eating this way more. Also, I'm a little lactose intolerant. So when I did eat like and also with eggs as well. So when I did eat those things, sometimes occasionally even though I couldn't stand them, like I never really liked cheese. Yes, we know, Miguel, vegans are fanatics, believe me. You think I don't know that? But I've had people who eat meat that are pretty crazy too. Like I said, people never mind their own business. Like you could be a 16-year-old or a 22-year-old and they do, but I don't because I never really it depends. If you ate meat originally and you became vegan for like clout, okay. So here's another example where people were wanting to follow a trend on YouTube. Like 2016, being vegan was really popular. And these people were like, I'm vegan for life. I'm not going to eat meat again. And the animals, blah, 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 blah. And now they're eating meat again. And a lot of them are carnivore. And then people are like, but wait a minute. Weren't you like a vegan? And when they decide, oh gosh, that one, wait a minute. I need to find you. When they decide to be a vegan, not a vegan, but like a carnivore again. Yeah. When they decide to be like a carnivore again, or a meat eater, or whatever, omnivore, all of a sudden, like everything they said to people that was like mean, they're like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to do this and that. Like it's okay for them, okay? It's very okay for them. But it's not okay for like regular people. It's kind of hypocritical is what it is. So that's why I guess with everything that I do, I just don't really want to tell other people what they should be doing because it's a kind of a type A thing. I was talking about that before. A lot of people want to tell other people how that they should live their lives and what they should be doing, and they believe that their truth is your truth. So that's why at the end of the day, it depends on what is your stance in life. Do you have an extroverted perspective or do you have a more introverted perspective? Do you just want to live your own life and do things that bring you joy and not be always telling other people how they should live? Or do you want to... So that's how I always approach every topic, really. Like, I think things can be cruel sometimes, and I'll make comments about that. But in general, like, I don't really want to tell other people, like, you should be doing X, Y, Z, and W, and I don't know. So, oh my. Like, I guess you can't break into that thing. Just put a little bit in. Or a lot, I guess. Oh. No. Has no high fructose corn syrup, wheat, soybean, vinegar. But it has ginger puree. Okay. Fine. Hey, I have more ginger. Like, see, we could, some ground ginger. We could really bump it up. Like, add more ginger to it. Oh, man. Why not? And then I'm just gonna turn it on. It's a little too high. I'm gonna get a plate. On. Yes, finally. It's finally open. So I'm just going to kind of let it cook on its own. Some olive oil in there. It's really kind of let it do its own thing for a little bit. And then I'm like, what do I want? Like, I thought I wanted to make baba ganoush, but I already have, well, I need to take the one thing out of the oven, I think, honestly, that I had. Hot. Ooh, he's caramelized beautifully. Put him here. So I want to make a smoothie now. Like, I think that's my next thing. I will clean everything when I'm done. But I'll kind of do double time. Like, I'll just be watching him and babysitting him. And just watching as I make the smoothie. Because I have some fruit. Rinse out the sink a little bit. It's not going to be perfect. But I really want to make a smoothie. Like, so I have things all week. This is like major food prep, buddies. Major food prep. I'm going to go into the fridge. First off, I need to some off. Because I don't really want a broccoli smoothie, but I could have a broccoli smoothie, I guess. So, yeah. I am going to make a smoothie, I guess. Oh my gosh, I still had radishes too. I forgot about that. Cucumbers. I'm going to make a smoothie as well. Okay. So, I feel like probably go over here for a minute before I turn off the oven. The carrots and the beets are so beautiful. kind of warm still, but I think cooked beets are really good. That's really good. This is really good. What time is it right now? It's 7:34 in the morning. I went to bed early though, because I've been busy working all week, and I was just really tired. And I stayed up late on a Tuesday night, Monday night before I worked. 7:30 in the morning. So I went to sleep like around, I don't know if it was 7 o'clock. I think maybe it was like after I did that like little talk where I was talking about my thoughts on spirituality. Why did I wake up early? Because I wanted to. I went to bed early, so I woke up early. Like, I went to bed really early. I was tired last night. So I slept like almost 10 hours, like maybe 9. That's why I woke up early. Waking up early is nice. Like, if you go to bed early, you're going to wake up early. It's simple. I can take a nap later if I want to. Like, I'm not working today. So, we're going to reconfigure everything. Oh, that's really good. You woke up at 11? Okay. But don't you have to work? Like, or I guess it's, if it's your day off, I understand. But I think if you have to work 11 is not practical, you know? I don't know what you do, though. This is so good, I can't stop eating it. I think it would have been good with just a little bit of salt and olive oil. It's still really, really good. Oh, you can praise God for that. You're very funny. You are our resident comedian, Mikkel. Yeah. These oranges are off somebody's tree. I think they're organic. Amazing oranges. These grapefruits, I think, are off somebody's tree. This great pomegranate, he's kind of shrunk. I've had him since Christmas. I'm like, I should have cut him up already, but I didn't cut him up yet. But I cannot stop eating this. This is amazing. It's really good. This is cooking down too. Oh my gosh. All right, so I didn't think this was gonna cook down, but you can definitely do a stir fry, okay, with the beet tops. Because I'm gonna want the broccoli to cook down, but look, the beet greens have like so cooked into it, and it's gonna be really a red stir fry. I mean, I probably should have added some chopped onions to it, but I'm not gonna bother. It's doing a good job. Do I eat? I haven't ate anything yet. Like, usually I make coffee too, but I haven't even made coffee yet. Like usually I want to make coffee, but right now I'm just on wanting to get my little meal prep thing done. Oh no, I think I let him sit too long. It's poor pomegranate. I just let him sit too long. It's gonna be all not as juicy as he once was, you know. Okay. Yeah, I think I let him wait too long. When I start, I should always cut up a pomegranate sooner than this, I think. For surely, I did let him wait too long. I mean, they keep a long time. It's better to use them earlier on. Do not chop. I'm just using the most staining foods all day long. Like, let's make pomegranates. Let's make beets. Well, you don't have to use them, Miguel, but how are you going to cut open a pomegranate without... You can't use a food processor. It's a pomegranate. I'm just asking. How are you going to open a pomegranate? I mean, if you're going to figure out some tricks to make the food processor... Okay, then don't do it, Miguel. You can just buy pre-cut fruit at the supermarket. And it's more expensive, but... Like, they have a section... Oh my gosh. I have to use the paper towels. Like, I try to conserve the paper towels. I don't like to use them, but I'm going to have to use them because I just try to conserve them for things that are really super messy that I want to throw away. But pomegranate got on the floor. I'm going to have to clean my floor later because, like, honestly, you could paint with pomegranate and beets. I'm just saying. You could paint with pomegranate and beets. Mm-hmm. Yes, you could. Looking for something. Okay, all the way back down. I was just seeing something in the chat. Okay. Let's get back to pomegranate time. Pomegranate, pomegranate. Last time I just pureed the whole inner thing, but I think because it's getting kind of pithy, I'm just going to try to not do that. Oh gosh, they're going to go everywhere. Yeah. Sometimes. You peel pomegranate. Okay. That is very cool. Mmm. My hand's gonna be dyed red. Red. Ah. Broccoli is really cooking down. I might let it cook a few more minutes. This heat. Turn down the intensity. But this is really good. I mean, I love beets. Don't care. But this is just so good. Like this. Mm-hmm. It's very good. The camera is not going crazy. The camera is moving along with me as I cook, okay? That's the whole point. It moves with me. It moves where I tell it to go. It's on a tripod. It looks a little crazy when it's moving. No drone. Tripod. You're funny. There's no drone. I don't have a drone. What do you think I am? Some fancy YouTuber that can afford that sort of stuff? You know what? I don't have a drone. I cannot afford a drone. Dream on. If I could afford a drone, I'd buy a house first before I bought a drone. Really? You're funny. You are so funny. Ah. I'm gonna rinse my fingers a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this stir fry is like really cooking down a lot. I feel like, yeah, like it's probably a good cooked amount. I'm trying to see like how much more cooked I would want it. I don't know. It looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. And even though this bowl has a lot of beets on it already, I want to try more. So this is like beet greens cooked down with broccoli. And then I used some teriyaki sauce and onion. And I also used, it's going to be very red. I also used like just some teriyaki, ginger, yeah. Onion powder. Well, it's just chopped onions is what it is. Probably should let that cool a bit. It's very steamy. I don't want to burn my tongue, but it's very steamy. But as you see, like the vegetables, even though they have a high volume, when it's really hot. But yeah, and so it's basically beet greens and broccoli with a little bit of onion powder. Alright. It's really good. I really like it. It tastes so good. I've done those before, but yeah, so that's what the plate looks like. But the beets were really good, and this is just like beet greens, broccoli, ginger powder, because I have a big thing of ginger, and I like it a lot. So I'm gonna make a smoothie too, because I have a little bit of everything. And this stuff will last me for a while because it's a lot. But it kind of really cooks down. Like, you know how much volume that all was at the beginning? It kind of makes me think, oh, I should eat it raw, like maybe. But I don't know. It just tastes good cooked. But I'm like, am I wasting it by not eating it raw? I don't know. But I just want to go back to eating more like salad even, like, and yes, salads raw. I might even just like go back to eating more salads. Like, I'm wanting to like do this push where I do more fruits and vegetables. Like, that's just where I'm feeling right now. Oh, I have some beet thingies that didn't make it into the stir fry. They're gonna go into the smoothie. Don't waste any of it, guys. I say, just don't waste any of it. Like, if I find part of it. I'm like, oh, you didn't make it into the stir fry? You can go in the smoothie. Yep. I'm going to put you in the smoothie. And then I thought like, oh, this fibrous beetroot wouldn't be good in the beets, but I don't know. Let's put them in the smoothie. I'm not kidding. When I say I'm not kidding, I mean I'm not kidding. When I say I'm doing it, I mean I'm doing it. You know, I seriously, like, yeah, I'm going to cook with everything. Okay, so I said I was just gonna roast vegetables, but I also wanted to make the smoothie because I have all this, well, the grapefruit, the pomegranate is pretty old, but they do keep in the fridge. I just would prefer, I had ate it earlier. These were off somebody's tree, so I'm actually gonna get a bit of bath because it looks kind of dirty. It needs a bath. Like, probably should have washed them when I brought them home. People don't like grapefruit, so if you like grapefruit, it's a great way to get like fruit. And I do peel part of it. I just feel like it's easier to. People say grapefruit's very tart, but I like grapefruit. It has a wonderful flavor to it, and it makes a good smoothie. And I'm gonna add some protein powder to it, by the way, that I have, that will bump its nutrition value up a bit. See how many other fruits I can add to the smoothie. Washcloths really are gonna love to have a bath after this, for surely. I'm gonna just keep using this one for now because it's still good. It just gets red from the beets. Okay. And the pomegranate. Wipe up that pomegranate right there. I want to take another bite of the, look how red it is. Mm-hmm. It's so red. Mm-hmm. Mm. And this right here is the stem of the broccoli. But when you cook it, it's like tender with a little bit of a bite to it. So don't waste your broccoli. It's really good. How much is... Okay, so I'm friendly to people. Let me explain my theory on introversion. I'm single, so to me, like, I tried to date people before or meet people before, and I just never really met somebody that I really click with. So, like, at this point in my life, it's just not really that important to me to get married. Like, and I don't want a roommate, honestly, because I used to live with my sister, but that was just a headache because she did a lot of things that would just cause, for me, grief and drama. And I live close enough to my family that I see my other sister all the time. Message retracted. Okay. All right. Well, you know, I don't know why you write all these things and then delete it later, Miguel. Like, I think you're okay. You could just, like... I was just saying that the camera... Anyway. So, I don't know what it is, why we do this. And then later we delete all that. So, as an introvert, do you think it's a good idea to live with or marry an introverted person? That depends on you. Like, I'll tell you my perspective. I personally don't think, like, unless I meet somebody that I really, really connect with, it's not that important to me. Like, meeting someone right now, it's just not that important to me. Like, I've tried, and I just never really met someone that I really clicked with. And I think a lot of people, for them, being in a relationship's very important to them. And so, yeah, or some people stay married to somebody who, like, they're not a good fit for, like, and it might be for social reasons or religious reasons. But if you have a choice, now all of Miguel's content is gone. Like, Miguel, what are you doing? Why do you write all those things and then retract them later? I don't understand. All I said was I'm moving the camera. Anyhow, so yeah, the thing about okay, so the thing about just getting married or living with an introverted person, like, it's funny that you add it and then delete it. You like to do that. Yeah, you're funny. You're our resident comedian. Okay. You're fun. I don't care, Miguel. I'm just like, maybe you need to be okay. Like if you wrote something, it's there. But if you want to delete it, go ahead. I don't really care. It's just kind of like what? I don't know. Anyway, I just think like people, if they have a choice on who they live with and who they marry, even if you're extroverted, just make a better choice. And now all of his comments are gone. Like everything. Like it just all is gone. All of it. Message retracted. Message retracted. Blah blah blah. You're hilarious. So yeah, like if you have a choice, maybe you should think about it. Just pick somebody that you get along with, because not all introverted people get along either. And even though I'm introverted, I'm the kind of introvert that I'll say hi to people. I'm polite to people in public. I'm not one of those introverts that's gonna well, you know what? You have reached. Now you put yourself in timeout. Really? Timeout. Anyhow. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't. I just like, no. He just was building up to that. You just couldn't help yourself, Miguel. So, anyhow, my whole view is like, just be kind, meet people that you get along with, and try to live a good life. Like, I don't know. I guess that's all I could say. But oh, anyhow, I'm gonna keep making my smoothie. I'm just not gonna. That's just silly sauce, applesauce stuff. Like. I don't want to put you completely in timeout, but you just couldn't help yourself, could you? Just like, well. Anyhow. No, I don't. Like, let me tell you why. There's a lot of people in the world. Like, there's always people that are gonna have children. Like, right now, if we look at resources and things like that, this is the truth. Like, there are only a limited amount of resources. Like, there are a lot of people on this planet that don't even have housing, food to eat. Like, if you have a child, that's more resources that you require to raise that child. So for me, I feel like a lot of people, and I think having a child is a great thing if you want one. But a lot of people have children just because they think that's something they should do, and these children grow up in conditions that are not fair to the child. So I feel like don't have children just because you want them. Have children because you're in a good place and you truly, really want to bring them into the world, you know? So no, like I don't feel like I need to have children. I have a niece and a nephew. Like for me, like that's enough. Like I don't know. I don't need to have children. My niece is having a baby, okay? So like they're having children. But I feel like I don't know. You can have children though. Nobody's saying that you can't, but I mean, I'm a single person. I don't want to have a child. I'm not married. So for me, like maybe if I had met the right person and it was like in a good place, but even then, I never really wanted to have a child that much. Like I don't know. It just wasn't something I really really needed, but you like if it's something you feel that you're ready to do, but let me just be honest, like when you decide that you're going to have a child, even if you are married, make sure that you have enough resources for that child because you basically need millions of dollars to actually raise a child very well in this world. And I know that sounds true, like, but it's true because a lot of people have children and, like, just how hard it is. And even if you do have resources and you do everything for your child, like, you have to think about their future and like are you going to help them find a house when they grow up, are you going to help them go to college, and it's just a lot of responsibility. So having a child to me I feel like is something you really need to have a good financial footing for. And it's not saying that poor people shouldn't have children, but a lot of poor people's children end up resenting them later because they're like, oh, my parents couldn't do this and that for me. And so if you have a child, just make sure you're in a position where you can financially afford everything that you want to do for them, plus 5 times more. Like that's my thinking on it. So it's not that you can't. It's not that you wouldn't want to have a child, but is it fair to that future child that you bring in the world if you can't provide for them in a way that you think would be suitable? That's my thought. Like this is how I think. I'm like, think about that future child. Like because I would say like 30 years ago, even if you were like working class or poor, like yeah, your child could have a very good and stable life, but now things are changing. Like there's more people in the world, more people are having children, because even if some people don't have children, there's still people that are going to have a lot of children. Like I see people that have 5 children easily in 3 years. It's so, and not all those people can afford things for their child. Like some people, not that there's anything wrong with government assistance, but a lot of people go on government assistance so that the taxpayers can pay for their children to have food to eat. So for me, I'm not saying that those people shouldn't have had children, but when it was that a good choice? Because first off, what would they do? Like let's say there was like those like resources were to be lowered, like what would they do? Like I just feel like people don't think these things out. So there's nothing wrong with having children. I just say, is it fair to the future children if you didn't think everything through financially to a T? Is it fair? You know, it's not always. So that's just my thought. And I don't have an extreme need within myself to have a child. I think you can contribute things to the world without having a child, you know? That's kind of my thought on that. So, anyhow. Well, things are more expensive though, like in the West. Like it's not cheap to live in California. Like I don't know where you live, but the cost of living is high. It's really expensive. Like maybe if you can afford, like I would tell you 30 years ago, but people are still having kids here. They're still definitely having kids here. But there were people that, my aunt, she was Syrian, full Syrian, born in the USA, and she didn't have children. She was married, But there's people in Lebanon that didn't have children. They are not a majority, like the majority of people like have children, but there were always people who didn't. Like it's just more common, I think. But I'll tell you, I'm not exactly super common in that I'm choosing not to have children. Like there are more people now that aren't, but there's plenty of people that are. So like this is my view on it, you know. So it has more to do, I think, with the economics of your situation. If you live in a country where having a child is like completely affordable, that's great. But I would tell you in California, a lot of people are going to have children like this year, next year, and they can't afford those children. And those children are going to grow up resenting their parents because they're not going to have the opportunities that they see other kids having. So this is just my thought on it. I'm not telling those people don't have those children, but is it fair to your future child that you might have brought them into a economic situation that's not fair to them? So that's just my thought on it. And this is not telling people that you shouldn't have children if you aren't wealthy and affluent. It's a lot easier because I see what affluent people do. Like they can send their kids to like the perfect private school. And I had a friend who she can afford to get a daycare person, and she was very I mean, she's a nice person, but she was very unaware that she was able to afford these things, because a lot of people I knew struggled. Like they would have to if one of them was working, they would have to arrange for the other one to be home, and daycare was a struggle. And I was just telling her how my friend like was getting this person to come from overseas to watch her child. She goes, "Oh, she has a lot of money to do that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, "Oh, well, she kind of does actually." And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being in a place of privilege, but you just have to be aware of these things. Like if you have like a grandma, like a grandpa that can watch the kids nearby, then maybe that's not a problem for you. Like if you live near your family. But it is kind of a problem. Like there are certain things about American nuclear family that I don't like that are not something that we would ever do. Like for instance, it's very common in American culture to put your parents in a care facility when they get older. Oh, I've spoken out against this about 100 times. And I'll tell you, people in Asian cultures don't do that. Yes and no, but I'm going to tell you something. You have to look at the realistic picture here, because even if you are a Muslim and you want to do good for your child, right? If they live in California or they live in New York or they live in London and your family is not rich, you're still going to put your child in a position that they're not going to have everything that they need. So you have to be honest. You have to be realistic. Like, and this doesn't mean that it's not a blessing to have a child, but is it your child will go with less. That's just the truth. Your child's going to go with fewer things. Like you have to look at this from a realistic economic perspective as well. And you know, you have to look at it that way, because there are some people that have children and they can't afford them. And I'm just telling you, like, you should have the child if you want to have the child, but you need to think about, is that fair to the child? And I think anybody should be aware of that, you know? So, and there are Muslim families that can't afford to have kids too, and they're realizing that years later that life is very expensive. So, this is a question, like, it didn't used to be that way in Western countries, but if you decide to immigrate, the economic situation's not what it used to be. And a lot of it has to do with, I don't know, corporate greed. A lot of it's corporatism. Like, corporations have made life more expensive. Because pre-pandemic, I could tell you, food was affordable. But, like, right now, even though they're raising salaries and the cost of living, some people can't afford to buy groceries. So, these are just things you have to be cognizant of. So, I'm not saying you couldn't get by. I'm not saying that families couldn't take care of their children. But there could be a day that your child feels that they had less than other children. And that's just something you have to be honest with yourself about. Like, no matter, like, maybe you live in a society where you think everything's perfect, but this is a modern thing, and it's going to happen everywhere. It's going to start happening. This is part of global corporate globalization. It will happen. The economy is shifting and there's going to be this change. It might not have happened in your country right now, but it's happening in many different countries around the world where it's becoming more expensive. And not that I agree with China's one child, one family policy. I think that's really stringent. I don't think any government should tell people how many children that they have. But the reason that they implemented that policy was it has to do with resources, like how many resources are available in a country, you know? Oh, I was just talking to myself and my battery is dying. I was just going on and it just stopped. So, you know, basically what I was saying is it depends on the economics of your country. So you could have the best intentions, and that doesn't mean your child's not a blessing. But economically, you need to be honest with yourself. You can't just say, oh, well, because like I feel like it's going to be good. Economically, there are certain things that will always be an issue. And you might think it's okay, but we don't know like 30 years from now what the economy is going to look like. We just have to be honest with ourselves. So when you decide to have a child, maybe I'm saying this from, and I would say this applies to like a lot of bigger countries. Well, you don't have to be a genie, but you do need to be cognizant of what you're doing for the child in the future. You do need to be cognizant of, am I having a child in an economy where they will be able to have food to eat, to find a job, to go to school? And you also need to be responsible, like Khalil Gibran. He's one of my favorite poets. I think he's very prudent about this. He said, take less than you give. So, like, you need to think about, and capitalism's not truly evil. By the way, when people say, oh, capitalism, they don't really think about it. It's corporatism. Like, people get that wrong. Everybody's like, oh, it's capitalism. It's corporatism. Because free market economy, if free market economy existed the way that it should, things would operate so much better. But when people say, oh, it's capitalism, like, have they looked at communism? Have they looked at the failures of the communist system? It's corporate greed. It's not that capitalism is the problem. It's corporate greed. Like, that's the problem, you know? And it's not, it's happening. It's not just the U.S. It's happening in China. It's happening in New York, which is in the U.S. It's happening in London. And there are Muslim families that are impacted by that. So you can't just say 20 years from now that every child's going to have a good standard of living. And yes, as a parent, you do need to think about these things. That's my view on it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you, your child might feel different 30 years from now if you don't have the economic wherewithal to have a good situation for them. And having a roof over your head, that's a complicated issue as well. Like, it can get complicated, but like I said, people need to do what's right for them, but that's just my take on it. I just think people need to be more aware of what they're doing for the future. And also, too, with that being said, if you are going to have a child, you should have enough money where you're not going to go to the state and like be asking for public assistance to feed that child. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you should be in a financial situation where you can carry yourself, you know, and some people aren't willing to do that. So capitalism, I think you need to look deeper into it, because capitalism is not the problem. It's corporatism. And communism is just as bad. Libertarians for the win, because libertarians look at this deeper. Libertarianism looks at this deeper and has a better, because like right now it's real like popular to say, oh, capitalism this, capitalism that. It's corporate greed. It's corporatism. It's crony corporatism. And anybody, and also too, like, maybe we shouldn't have like companies that are too big to fail. Why do we bail out companies? Like, why do we allow Google to become so big? There's just a lot of things that are not right about it. So it's not that it's capitalism that's the problem, it's corporatism. Well, I think you're going to be okay. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just talking about a lot of people. They decide that they're going to do whatever they want, and they're going to have a child, and they know it's, I'm just sharing, because you asked me, why don't I want to have a child? I personally just don't want to have a child. That's just my view on it. But I was just sharing, like, people should think before they have a child. Am I going to stop people from having a child? Like I said, there's going to be somebody that has 5 kids in the next 2 years that I'll probably see walking across the street. People are having plenty of kids. Like, the reproduction rate is not going down. Like, I see people having plenty of kids. Pandemic baby. Does anybody know what a pandemic baby is? Yes, there are a lot of pandemic babies. There are babies that were born during the pandemic. A lot of people, like, I would say there was probably a baby boom during the pandemic. And so I don't think people are not having children. So I don't know. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on that. I guess Miguel left the chat. Well, I kind of deleted his comment, so I guess he's gone. But if he could have behaved himself, he could have hung out here. But I don't know. Whatever. That was getting kind of silly. Like, just behave yourself, guys. Like, I don't know why you have to be so silly. But it's actually good because I was getting tired of some of the comments he was leaving anyway. It was getting weird. Like, he was always leaving comments like that on... I don't know. Anyhow, so I do hope that, you know, you have a child and maybe, like, your wife, or you guys planning on having kids soon. I hope that goes well for you. Alrighty, so I'm going to kind of get my smoothie all prepped. I'm going to bring him forward. And I'm going to, I used water last time, but I think I'm going to use my coconut almond milk for this one, because I have some coconut almond milk. I haven't opened this one yet. I thought I still had some of the other coconut milk. No, I used that up the other day. I haven't been shopping as much lately. Like I said, groceries did go up in price. I was like, oh my golly. So maybe just some of the things I say are based on, like, California things, like what our pay rate is, but people are like, go move to another state, it's cheaper there. I guess you could. I mean, if you want to, but here's the thing about other states, like, they pay $2 an hour, like, for somebody just going into the workforce. Like, how is that sustainable? Like, their rate doesn't even match the standard of living, really. So it's cheaper to live there. They don't pay you much there. I think I'm gonna go get my one thing for the smoothie. I need to, well, we're gonna be doing lots of fun laundry time today with all of our little, but I do say washcloths. Well, maybe, are you trying to immigrate to be with her? I think, like, hopefully you can be with her soon. I hope it works out for you guys, like, whenever you're able to travel and see her. All right, organic protein. I'm adding some of this. It's something I got at Costco a while back. It lasts a long time. It has pea protein, rice protein, chia seeds. It has a lot of, like, just really healthy stuff in it. I'm gonna put a couple scoops in there. Just kind of bumps up the nutrition value of a smoothie. I mean, I used to just not add it, but I have it, so I'm like, I kind of like it now that I have it. I mean, that's a little bit of a vanilla flavor. So, I'm gonna... with my mason jars. They're so cute. It's really good. And then I think the rest of my smoothie I'll just put in this. Just kind of let it flow in. Get the last of the smoothie out. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.